Katie Redfern. I think so. Can you hear me? Good. Lovely to meet you all. Thank you for having me here, Sally, and that lovely introduction as well. I'm here to give you some nuggets, golden nuggets of how you can power up your career mojo. So can you give me a smile in the room if your mojo is feeling a bit flat at the moment, or if you know somebody who's feeling a bit stuck in a rut with their career? I can see a few smiles. So it's been worth the hour and a half journey to get here today. Okay. Just imagine waking up on a Monday morning feeling exhilarated and excited about your day ahead at work. Or perhaps this scenario sounds more familiar. The alarm goes off, you hit the snooze button, the alarm goes off again, and you hit the snooze button. And eventually you crawl out of bed feeling nauseous about your day ahead at work. That was so well timed. 526,000 people in our country sadly wake up feeling like the second scenario every single day. And it leads to 12.5 million sick days. Career mojo loss is an epidemic. I know, because I experienced it myself. And it led me to set up my business, Meaningful Recruitment. And I've got lots of stories to tell you. I'm so excited to share all these things with you. We spend 92,000 hours of our life working on average. 92,000 hours. That's a very long time to just be paying the bills. I want to encourage everybody to make the most of their 92,000 hours. And the reason why is because I had two lovely friends who encouraged me to do that. Let me explain my story. I was in my 30s. I was working for a leading HR and recruitment consultancy firm in London. And by society standards, I was doing really, really well. I was successful. My bosses were happy. My clients were happy. But inside, I was shriveling up and wasting away. I'd completely lost my mojo. I was basically not dealing with my passion, which was totally working with people. I was dealing with facts and figures and profits and KPIs. That's totally not what resonated with me. Soon after making my decision that I wanted to change this, I got two phone calls out of the blue from two dear friends. They were also in their 30s. And sadly, they called me to let me know they had cancer. These two ladies, these bright and lively and amazing ladies, gave me a gift. You see, they were living their lives wholeheartedly, and they were living their lives with meaning, because sadly, they did pass away. It's quite an emotional experience just sharing that with you, actually. They gave me a gift. They inspired me to get meaning in my life, so I completely quit my job. I went in search of meaning, and I suddenly realized I was surrounded by people who had completely lost their career mojo. Career mojo loss is an epidemic, as I said earlier, and I decided that I was going to bring meaning to the career advisory and recruitment field and completely set it ablaze so that everybody lives a life with meaning and makes sure that their time on planet Earth is worthwhile. Thank you for nodding there, Sally. So I'm going to give you my 3 tips of how you can power up your mojo, because Oscar Wilde said the most amazing quote. He said, "To live is the rarest thing of all. Most people just exist." And I want everybody to make the most of their time, as I said earlier on. So your first tip to boost your career mojo is very simple. It's to press the pause button. It's to press that golden buzzer, like on Britain's Got Talent, and just pause. Now, that may sound counterintuitive, because essentially, when you're stuck in a rut and feeling like I was earlier on in my career, you want to create action. You want to progress, but you have to press the pause button. We're here to celebrate the birthday, happy birthday, of Inspiring Talks here in Brighton. And birthdays are an amazing landmark. They are fantastic for getting you to stop, for getting you to think about what you did in the last year, where you're at now, and where you want to go forwards. And career mojo boosting needs exactly the same thing, except you need to do it more regularly, ideally 4 times a year. So what I mean by that is you think about where you've been, you think about where you are currently, and you think about where you want to go. Okay, and it's so important to do this on a regular basis. I'm going to give you an exercise that you can do to help you when you press that pause button, tune into yourself, and making sure you're totally aligned to yourself. The first thing I want you to do is to check in with yourself on a physical basis. How do you feel when you're at work? Are you energized and enthused about what you're doing? Or are you feeling nauseous, pain on a regular basis? If you've got headaches, you've got stomach aches. The second thing I want you to do is check in with yourself emotionally. Are you feeling enthused about going to work and working with your colleagues? Or are you feeling a little bit frustrated and irritable? The third thing I want you to do is to check in with yourself intellectually. Are you stimulated by what you're doing? Are you absolutely loving what you're doing? Or are you actually feeling bored, in automatic pilot, overwhelmed? Check in with yourself on a regular basis, and when you've got those answers, tweak them. So basically, you might be fine physically, but you're not stimulated. That's where you need to tweak it, okay? So press the pause button on a regular basis. Do not get to crisis point. If you press the pause button on 4 times a year, it will help you create momentum in the right direction. My second tip for you today is based on your strengths. When people exist, they're in automatic pilot. They're just doing the same thing over and over and over again. When you're in that mode, you only tap into your strengths, your personal strengths, only 20% of your strengths. There's a massive bucket full of strengths there, totally untapped into. So make sure you're tapping into all of them. Get out of your comfort zone. Tap into all of your strengths. I'm going to give you an example of a guy who completely did this. There was a guy in his 20s who was doing really well, but suddenly he was poorly, and his body started shutting down very sadly, and he lost his mobility. He lost his ability to speak and eat. And this guy had the most amazing ideas that he just needed to communicate. Sadly, he was told he only had 14 months to live. And he thought, well, I've still got to communicate these ideas. So what he thought was, I'm going to write a book. He wrote a book, which took a long time because in 1 hour, he could only write 4 words. 1 hour he wrote 4 words. But he wrote this book and it became a bestseller. He didn't just live for 14 months. He lived up to the age of 76. His name is Stephen Hawking. And he totally showed us what you can do when you tap into all of your strengths. He showed us his grit, his determination. He completely got over limiting beliefs. And he showed us how to make the impossible totally possible. So I implore you, all of you, to tap into your strengths. My third tip that I'm going to give you today is based on the very foundation principle of my business, which is called Meaningful Recruitment. It's a national business. It's a career advisory, coaching, and recruitment business. And I've worked with amazing pioneers such as Anne Daniels, the GB Polar Explorer. I've worked with Emily Penn, who deals with ocean rescue, sorting out plastics in our ocean. You might have heard with them. I've interviewed Louise Ash, who does the Meaning Conference here in Brighton. And I've totally worked out what you need to do with this formula, this meaningful formula. It's to combine your personal mojo with your career, your work mojo, because what goes on outside of your life at work, in your personal life, you combine that with what goes on inside your work, your mojo goes absolutely ballistic. And I have researched this for decades. I'm telling you, that's totally the thing to do. So tap into meaning. People who have a meaningful existence, honestly, I'm telling you now, they are confident people. They are happier people. They are healthier people. They are great team players. And if they have any barriers that come in their way, they are so tuned in to their drive and their passion and their purpose. They get around them really, really quickly. Might not be an easy journey, but they are so focused. I've met many people like that. So I encourage you to do that. And here's a really, really simple thing that you can do. Get meaning in your life. It doesn't have to be directly work. It can be linked to a hobby. Once you find that hobby, it might be something you did 8 years ago that you just have forgotten that you love it. It might be something new that you want to do. It could be joining an environmental group, an art group. It could be doing cookery. It could be something to do with nature. Just get it back in your life. And what that does is it helps you join up with like-minded people. You find your tribe. You get really excited about projects you can get involved in. So get that back in your life and find meaning. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed my speech today. I've tried to give you some golden nuggets. There's 2 actions that you can take for either yourself or your loved ones if you think they're stuck in a rut. There's a form here. You can put your name down. I'm going to send you that PDF document. There you go. Thank you, Sally. Along with a discount code, which you can use against any of my services, because I would love to help you progress in life in the direction that you want to go in. You can also go on my website, which is meaningfulrecruitment.co.uk. And above all, just remember those 3 tips I've given you. Press that golden buzzer of a pause button and just reflect on where you want to go. Seek, use your strengths, that's what I'm trying to say. Empower your strengths and seek meaning in your life. Because I guarantee you will not just be existing, you will be living wholeheartedly, just like my lovely friends taught me to do. Thank you for listening.